Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Tracy and I want to welcome you. In this week's video, we're going to be covering a few things. You're going to be going with me to Texas and to Louisiana as I do my travel teaching job. And inside this video, I am going to be showing you a little thrifting. We're going to be visiting some Goodwills in both of these states. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the things that I have thrifted for a profit in the past few weeks. So let's get started. For my job, when I have to travel more than 5.5 hours, I fly to the event. And for this event, I was actually headed to Dallas, Texas. Luckily, I had a direct flight, so I didn't have to worry about any layovers and delays where that may come into place. So when I arrive at the airport, one of the things I like to do is leave a little Jesus. So you're going to be seeing in my videos how I leave a little Jesus a lot of the different places that I go. An airport hack for you is this. If you are flying, don't waste money on buying water at the airport. Almost all of the airports these days have these refilling stations. So just take a water bottle with you and that is going to save you a ton of money. So heading to Dallas now, and you know, a lot of people are apprehensive about flying, but I actually love flying. For me, it is a time to relax, to unwind, and it actually forces me to be still. So I actually enjoy flying. I look out the window, I sometimes watch TV, I read a lot, and I just find it very relaxing. Well, my flight to Dallas was about 2 hours, and when I'm on a plane, I also like to find a place to leave a little Jesus. And one of the best places is to tuck a little Jesus in the back seat pocket of the seat in front of me. I also include a little salvation card for someone who maybe doesn't know about Jesus or how to accept Jesus into their lives. After my plane lands, I of course have to pick up a rental car and head to the hotel. For this trip, I was staying near Six Flags in Dallas. I stayed at a nice hotel. It was actually bigger than some of the hotels I normally stay at. And I was ready to just head to my room to settle in and relax for the evening. I knew I had an early day the next day. The next day starts with about a 5:30 a.m. wake up time. When I'm on the road, I always like to start my day with a little Jesus time. I found that it just kind of sets the mode for the rest of my day. And to make sure that I don't feel rushed, I'll even set my clock a little earlier than normal just to make sure that I have plenty of time and I don't feel rushed. Before I leave my hotel for the day, I like to leave another little Jesus with a nice tip for the housekeeper at that hotel. I head to my school. For this event, I'm actually doing a half-day event for teachers, so it's not a long event. I'm actually in and out in about 3 hours, and after I finish for the day, I head out to do a little thrifting. So I was able to visit a couple of the Goodwills in Dallas, and this first Goodwill, once I got there, I decided to head to the hard goods. When I first started thrifting, I really concentrated mainly on clothing, and now my main focus is the hard good area. I loved this box here, but I knew I just had a carry-on, so whatever I decided to purchase, I was going to have to be able to fit in that carry-on and get back home with me in one piece. And then I saw this cute little treasure box. It has a cross on it. It was $3.29, so very affordably priced. I popped that in my buggy. And I also checked some glassware. Even though I might pick up glassware on a normal day, I probably wouldn't when I'm traveling. I saw this basket, and if it had been local, I would have definitely picked it up. I thought it was so cute. I probably would have kept it for myself because it just looked like such a great basket to even use for storage. So I was able to find another little item here. I did look through the clothes. I found that when I'm traveling, clothing and shoes are good things to actually pick up because I can fit those in my suitcase rather easily and I don't have to worry about them breaking. I decided to head on to another Goodwill. I had some more time before I needed to get back to the airport. The second Goodwill was really nice. It had a lot of nice hard goods, clothing. I did find that the clothing in Texas at the Goodwills was more expensive than it was in East Tennessee. In East Tennessee, like a dress, for example, is around $6.99, and in these stores, it was almost $12 for a dress. I did check out the glasswares, even though I knew that I wouldn't be able to pick anything up to take with me, just because it is very likely it would get damaged or broken flying home with me. I saw this beautiful little cross that I picked up, and anything that you see in my videos, you can actually find in my eBay store. You can go find that directly in my eBay store. This was not super large. I knew that it would fit perfectly in my carry-on to take home, so I felt like this was a good win for this thrift store. Now, I am doing a vintage wall in my office, and in my office, it's a wall that's going to have animal pictures, and a lot of the pictures actually have children in them, and I saw this little picture and thought it was adorable. It's this little girl, and she is holding a rabbit. It was only $3.29, so I popped that in my buggy. I felt like I could get that in my carry-on and get that home safely without it breaking, and it did make it home safely. I did look through the store a little more, and I decided to hide a little Jesus behind some of the Halloween goodies. And I always say a little prayer that whoever needs to find that little Jesus will be the person that finds it. So I just hope that whoever needed a little Jesus that day found it. I did tuck one also up in the stuffed animals, hoping that a child might find that and ask their parent about it. For the next little bit, I headed back to the airport. I left one more little Jesus in the airport bathroom, and it was a balmy 106 degrees when I was headed back to the airport that day, and you can see me leaving some more little Jesuses. Did you know that Dallas is one of the busiest airports in the world? And you can actually see the planes lined up as I'm getting ready to take off from Dallas. It is always super, super busy. And like I said, I think it's actually one of the busiest airports in the world. So flying home, we had to fly around a little weather. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please be sure to do so. I would greatly appreciate that. So on our flight home, the pilot told us we were going to be flying around some storms, and I didn't realize that I would actually get to see one of the storms from my window. So if you look at the top right of the screen, you're going to kind of see some clouds, and you'll see some light flashing. That's actually the storm and lightning inside the storm. Unfortunately, my iPad was reflecting in the window. I wish I'd known that, and I would have put my iPad down so that you could see it better, but I just thought it was really cool to be able to see a storm from up that high. So just a different perspective of what storms look like. So I enjoyed the rest of that flight home. A couple of days later, I took off again, this time to Louisiana. So I was going to do another teacher in service type training, and while I was on this flight, of course, I had to share a little Jesus, and as I normally do, I just tucked a little Jesus into the back seat pocket of the seat in front of me. So by the time I got to Louisiana that night, it was late. So after landing, I had to pick up my rental car and head to my hotel. It was rather late. It was about 11:15 Central Time, which was like 12:15 home time. So I went to bed and got up bright and early the next day. Here you're going to see my steamy view going into this Louisiana school to do an all-day teacher in-service. So for this day, I was actually set up in one classroom, and I had teachers who would come in throughout the day for hour-long sessions. And it was really nice because I didn't have to move from room to room. And what was extra nice today was the fact that I also had a lunch break and I was able to go do some thrifting. So I went to one of my favorite Goodwills that I like to go to when I'm in Louisiana. It is actually a clearance outlet. Everything in this store is $2.50. Now, they mainly have clothing, so that's pretty much what you have to shop for here, but everything is only $2.50. It is so clean and well organized, and I love how they organize everything based on color. This is really good for me when I'm traveling in Louisiana because as I mentioned before, I like to pick up clothing because that is something easy for me to take home. I can fit that easily into my carry-on bag. So I browsed through a lot of the different aisles. I was limited on time, so I didn't get to get a lot of things, but I did get 3 dresses. I got these, well, actually 2 dresses and a shirt. The shirt, this is a Lauren Conrad dress, but the shirt you're going to see is actually a Calvin Klein shirt that has tags still on it. And like I said, everything was $2.50, so that was a great steal for the day. So I headed back to the school. It is in a very rural area in Louisiana, and as I've traveled throughout Louisiana, I've learned a lot about some of the farming they do down there. Instead of the dairy farms and beef cattle farms we have in East Tennessee, a lot of times they are actually farming crawfish. So it's super interesting. I headed back to the airport, hopped on a plane, and headed back to East Tennessee. I want to share with you at the end of this video a few of the things that I have sold in recent days. And again, anything that you've seen in this video that you're interested in will be in my eBay store linked below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I will see you next time.